Anyway, first thing we got to do is we got to get this bumper cover off. Because if you can see up there in the engine, the timing belt is right up against this. And in order to do the timing belt, we have to move this. So let's get ready to do that. Those 2 bolts. I think you can see them. Have to get something up in there to grab those. Probably a magnet. But oh, this is what the bolts look like. They got those big old washer self-locking threads in the back. There's a bolt right here. Gonna get out because it holds on this cross frame. We want to get that loose. Not sure if this one needs to come loose, but I'm gonna take it off anyway. We'll find out. There we go. Yes, it does. Way up here. Also, how you... There's that one. Aha, that was it. All right, now the interesting part. There's that. Get this off. There's just a mess of cables back here. That one. That one. This, the horn. There's the horn. That's everything on this side. Let's get this side kind of hooked so I can get the cords off this side. Bumper cover's kind of heavy. There's all the shit on it. Whoa, shit. There. Good. But most of the connections are on this side. There's only one horn connector on this. There. So basically got a little clip there. You just spread them and got fun little clips. You just go boop. Yeah, these are the main holders right here. These 3 bolts. Then we got to get these out. Got to get this off. Same thing on the other side. There, there, up there. And then we got to put a lock carrier holder, a stud, and we will be able to, you know, it'll be nice having an actual proper pin for this, because then I won't have to gash my leg like I have done a few times in the past. Still welded, but. So this thing pins in here. I like to run it till it's all the way through the back. I've broken, the lock carrier's broken the stud that it sat on before. Because it's basically on the back of here, there's just like a flat metal plate with a welded nut to the back of it. And the pressure of having this on there, once upon a time ago, it was a much older car, but the carrier sat on it and it just ripped the thread, or ripped the tight. And then I'll put vice grips behind it to keep it out there. 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 That's out. That's out a little further. Not super great, but it's something. There. All right, let's bring this thing down to something workable. There. That'll hold that. Get this all off. Because we're going to get a new belt. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Take that off. Guess I could take this off. Yeah, yo. There we go. Put all these bolts back in it and set this piece down. So, as a note on organization, here's my organization thus far. All the pieces in the order that they've come off, and right now we're there. So we'll probably take the next piece, put it down here, and start going that way. Or I might just start back at the left. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. But whatever it is, I'll remember that much. Also, has the stream done anything stupid yet? Like dropped or freaked out? Good God. There! Holy shit. It's like we actually are getting somewhere now. Come off, you stuck bastard. Jesus fucking Pete. Ah, there. Bye, Clamp. We won't miss you. You're a piece of crap. Jesus. So, like, this is just, like, glued onto that shit. Oy. Roll the engine around. I'll show you the marks when I get it lined up. Yeah. So here's the top cam marks. There's a little thing that says OT and this little arrow that's pointing down. There's a notch in this gear that lines up with that. Down there, as you can plainly see, clearly see, camera down there, there is another notch in the gear or in the pulley, and then there's supposed to be like kind of a dent in this backing plate or timing cover, whichever way you want to call it. But it's not a very good dent. Whenever they did that on the factory line, it just didn't press hard enough, so to speak. So now we're just going to get this. We are going to take off the tensioner, replace the water pump, replace that idler pulley. I think you're looking at that. Yeah, we got tensioner, water pump, idler pulley. We're going to place that, replace all these. Check this to make sure this is not leaking any fluids past the seal. Same thing on the crank. Make sure it's not leaking any fluids past the crank seal. Just never really percolated my interest. God damn it! That's fucking tight. Ah, there we go. Jesus. It's not like rusty or anything, it's just dusty. Why did it say it twice? Did it say the same thing twice? But I'll need assistance. There's that. Like everything else, it's just stuck. But like my blood donation, wasn't that nice? I think I got bit by a vampire. No. Let's loosen up. Go. Now, here's the biggest trick of them all. All right, so don't want to move your timing marks is the key because they're your timing marks. You got this here and you got that one down there. Well, the key is this is going to save your ass on many, many, many timing belts. You got to get the belt over here. You can't get it over this side if you can't fucking move it. So what I do is I got the timing belt loose here. You can see right there, really loose on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the crankshaft back just a little bit. So I have a little bit of play on this side too. So you see how it's got that much play there. We're just going to do a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. So now we got play on both sides. So what you do is you just remember that you move that back a little bit so you can get the belt off. So we're going to replace all the pieces, get everything done, and then when we get it back on, it'll let us get the belt on easily. And then what you want to do is you want to torque this side of the belt, the top side, and then you want to use the tensioner to take up the rest of the slack. This would take less time, but I'm trying to get it so you guys can see it. I'm also trying not to hit the camera. And I'm also trying not to drop my socket. So, once I get this water pump out, I'll show you guys 99% of the water circulation overheating problems on all Volkswagens ever, assuming they have not updated it. So here's the old water pump. Plastic. This black piece is a plastic crap. So what happens is here on the inner side where the plastic meets the metal shaft, the plastic will wear and eventually the whole thing can come loose. And so what'll happen is the water pump will be spinning the gear, or the timing belt will be spinning the gear, but the water pump impeller, this piece, won't turn because the inside it's gotten hot and so it's expanded and it came off of the drive, I forgot what you call it suddenly. But anyway, so the biggest reason you want to do your timing belt the first timing belt is to replace it with a metal impellered one, which is what this is. Nice metal one. Beautiful. Grab. There. Oh, did I just move the cam? Ta-da! Because we rolled the crank back a little bit, we had the belt tension both sides pretty even. Now what we can do, we can pull the slack out of this side because, as you see, got a little slack. And in fact, you don't even really have to do that. You can just tension this, and that'll do it at the same time. It'll pull the crank around, but you're tensioning it until that little notch gets into that little window. That notch goes into that window. That'll mean it's tensioned properly. And this one is, and it's got a little arrow on it, which says right there. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. Kind of see it. It says, that's the way you're supposed to tension it. So to the right, which is the way I'm going. And right there. No, it'll stay by itself. Get our 13 wrench, and we can get up under there. There. So check out the mirror, make sure it's spot on. Very nice, very nice. Very nice. Our belt's tensioned. Cam still lined up. Crank still lined up. We have retimed the belt. See, according to the mirror, I think you can see it. See how the mark is lined up. Oop. The notch with the gap. Notch with the gap. So, just gonna roll the engine around, because basically if you are going to screw something up and possibly, hit a valve on a piston, you would rather be moving it manually, because you'll just get to a point where you're like, it's stuck, I can't move it. And you can probably get away with not replacing anything, because you'll just retime it and then it'll go again, and you won't have destroyed anything. If you go with a breaker bar, you may have a problem. What's up, Pav? How you doing, buddy? There's one rotation. Successful. Also, you do this to make sure that your tensioning and all that good crap is good, because you want to be able to rotate it all the way around, get it back onto top dead center on one, which is basically getting the lower crank lined up, and your cam should be lined up, and if you did that, then congratulations. Success. So we're coming back up on the crank pulley now. Right there. Perfect. And we got the cam lined up perfect. So it means that it'll all be timed. So you can see here. Oh, stuck on my shirt. Cam timed, and the crank is timed with the mark that I put down there, which is that little white out piece. So that's lined up, and the camshaft is nicely lined up. If you look on it straight on, sometimes these can be difficult, because it's like, in order for me to look at it, I kind of just basically gotta rest my face against this and being like, yup, that looks good. So this is your happy nuts here. Get them all put on. Yes, this will be great. So now we're just going to go ahead and put the timing cover back on, and it's going to be a happy timing cover. We're going to make sure that it really goes on there good. But first, we need to put the crank pulley and the crank cover back on, and it'll be a happy cover. This cover will be very, 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 very happy little bolts going in here. Mount right here. This is the snubber mount. This is supposed to be around it, but as you see, it's been destroyed. So anyway, that's going to make it a lot easier. So you can just loosen that bolt, take out these two bolts, and take the snubber out, and then push it on. So we're going to do just that. We're going to push it on. Dun, 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 dun. You can push it. Ta-da! Like a glove. I hate, dude, like, freaks me out, because whether or not, I mean, I already rolled the engine. I already did everything to test that this timing belt is on correctly. I quadruple checked all those bolts like 5 times, make sure they're all tight. I hate starting the car after a timing belt, because just honestly, it scares me. I'm just like, please God, don't break. Please God, don't break. Don't have like something stupid happen and just fall apart. On your mark, get set, go. Oh, it's running. Whew. Oh. Check engine light. Nope. Good. Happy me's. You got happy trees, then you got a happy me's, because the engine is running. As the kind of farewell screen. Thank you guys for watching. It's been fantastic. There's all the other info.